You know, Mr. Mash, we have a rule.
What's that, Mr. Bangers?
That rule is, if I'm up before 8 o'clock in the morning, usually because we're going on some sort of trip, what do?
We have to stop at McDonald's and get breakfast.
You know, I don't eat a lot of fast food. In fact, I don't even like most fast food. However, I have a weakness. And that weakness is McDonald's sausage biscuit and hash browns. And actually, there's a very specific reason why I have this weakness.
And why is that?
When I was in the 2nd grade, I was going to school at a private academy in Virginia, and my mother just happened to be working in the same area. My sister was going to high school in the same area. So every morning, my sister would take myself and my mother into Virginia. She'd drop my mother off at the hospital, and her and I would go to McDonald's, and I would get a sausage biscuit and a hash brown. And a very nice old lady there, who's probably dead now, would give me a free toy. And then she would take me to school and she'd take herself to school and everything was hunky-dory. Because of that, I have this attachment to the McDonald's breakfast. Also because it's fucking delicious. However, we get here today, and I order my sausage biscuit and my hash brown, and you get the bagel thing you're eating. They hand us our food, and those motherfucking egg suckers forgot my hash brown. So you had to go in there and give them blood for blood. Now I got my hash brown.
I'd like to make myself sound like a badass on the internet and all. But
That's what the internet is for.
But really, all I did was I walked in there and I was like, hey, you know, I don't know what happened, but for some reason, when we ordered the extra hash brown, when he put on the meal, he took off the extra hash brown. Oh, sure, no problem. We're free of charge.
I'm sure the internet finds this fascinating. The reason I'm up before 9 on a weekend, what is that reason? Well, you're doing. The reason is we are headed to Mars, Pennsylvania to Monster Bash 2014. Which is a classic horror convention up there. And we first heard about this last September when we were in Baltimore for our previous con, Monster Mania 26, and a guy handed us a flyer and said, hey, it's in Pennsylvania, Julie Adams and Ricou Browning are going to be there. And we said, for sure, yeah, we got to go, because those people are old and they could be dead any day now.
Exactly, and especially with...
Birds are attacking us.
Especially with Ricou Browning being the last Universal monster living.
Yeah, this is a big deal for us. And that's the reason why we're driving out to bumfuck nowhere. Hopefully the truck will not explode or anything. I'm planning to do some guerrilla marketing for my book, Last of the Monster Kids, available on the Amazon Kindle Marketplace now. We'll be giving you updates throughout the day. That's what we're doing. Yeah. So
see you at lunch.
See you at lunch, basically, yeah. Well, Mr. Mash, what did we just leave?
All of our money at the con.
That's right, we're done at Monster Bash for the day. I was apprehensive about this one because it was a bit of a drive for us. It was a bit of a rough drive. It wasn't a lot of fun getting here. I think you and I were under the impression that this was a small, medium-sized con.
Right, but apparently it's pretty big for the surrounding audience.
Yeah, this is actually a very large con. The guest list is not huge, but the dealer's room is very big, and they have so many things.
Oh, yeah. I don't think there was one table that we passed by that we didn't want something off of.
Very few, and there were so many rooms. I don't even know how many different rooms that were selling things they had.
Yeah, I'm not even sure we hit everything.
Yeah, no, there might have been a couple things we missed, and it was fun because when you get there, they have an Abbott and Costello impersonators, and then a little room that has wax figures of Frankenstein and Dracula and the Wolfman, and there's a Frankenstein that growls as you go through the door.
Yeah, it was all a pretty neat touch. I kept growling back at Frankie every time I walked by him.
Well, what else would you do?
Show him some fire.
They even had a little beanbag toss outside for the kids. When we get here, and the first thing we see, there's an Ecto 1 parked in the parking lot. By the front door, there's a reproduction of the Dragula from the Munsters.
And then there's a Ford Fiesta that's painted green and has the creature from the Black Lagoon painted on the side.
Yeah, the creature is stenciled on the side, the license plate reads Creech, and the inside of the car is full of stuffed toys of the Gill Man. And they had even had Ricou Browning sign it, which I suppose brings us to our next point, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, we got to meet Ricou Browning and Julie Adams.
Those were the reasons we came up here. The reason we made the extensive drive, because we wanted to see them, because they're up there in age.
Yeah, to the point that you could tell by talking to them that they were starting to lose a couple of screws here or there.
It was pretty clear that Julie was, I don't want to judge or anything, maybe just because it was a busy day for her. It did seem that she was not completely in possession of her mental faculties, which was sad, but she was still extremely nice and she answered all our questions.
Oh, yeah, definitely. She was a sweetheart.
She was really, really nice. And, you know, I mentioned it on the last episode, I'm a published author now. My book, Last of the Monster Kids, is available on the Amazon Kindle Marketplace. I will leave a link in the episode description. Please go buy it. Anyway, as guerrilla marketing for my book, I was carrying around a little sign, a little placard that had the cover image on it. And I was handing out business cards to everybody. And Julie Adams saw my board and asked me about it. And I told her, like, oh, yeah, this is a book I've read. I said there's a monster in every story. And she said, oh, I hope my monster's in it. I said, well, actually, for a fact, he is.
Yeah, I mean, she seemed to be really enthused about it.
Yeah, that was really nice. I have no idea if she'll remember it at the end of the day. In fact, I'm fairly certain she will not.
You never know. Maybe you sold a copy to Julie Adams.
That would be fun. Julie Adams is really nice. Great to meet her. She's such an important part of my pop culture brain that it was really cool meeting her. Right next to her table was, of course, Ricou Browning, who was nice, though short.
Yeah, he was a man of few words.
I don't know if it was so much that he just doesn't have a lot to say, if he gets shy around meeting people.
I think it has more to do with he kept saying, you know, there's a Q&A. I think he was trying to get people to...
Maybe that was it. You know, this is the second day for them. Maybe he's just tired of answering questions. And from my understanding, Ricou Browning was never as enthusiastic about the creature as Ben Chapman was. Of the two, Chapman was always the more excited about being the Gill Man. But still, we asked Ricou, well, you asked him, how does it feel to be the last of the Universal monsters? What was his answer?
Old.
It feels old, yeah. Which was pretty funny. His handler, I don't know if that was his daughter or his wife or whatever. I'm guessing daughter. But she was nice, and she was very talkative.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and the prices were not outrageous. It was $25 for a black and white.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting way more than that. I was expecting at least 30.
I was willing to go up to 50, and I was hoping for somewhere in the area of 20 to 30. So 25 made me happy. And then there was a third guest that I got a signature from. JD, not so much, but I'm a big fan of Mystery Science Theater. And Joel Hodgeson, the creator of MST3K, the original host, was here. What was the weird little feature they had? You could get a signed print or a picture, but both was more. And then there was this deal where he would sign this special sheet for you and put your name, and you could get a picture, and he would teach you the secret handshake, because now you're a part of the secret society of Mystery Science Gentlemen or something. It was a lot of fun, is the point I'm making.
Yeah, it was a fan service, is what it was.
And speaking of fan services, there at his table, he had a little reproduction of Tom Servo, and I'm sure, I'll probably post the pictures in the episode, I'm sure JD noticed the look on my face when I was holding Tom Servo's little hand. I was nerding out pretty hard.
You know, even I knew who that was. I was like, oh, look, you know, it's Servo.
So that was a lot of fun. He was really great. He was very talkative. That was cool. Now, we had thought about getting Savini's signature, but it didn't happen, and it wasn't an intentional thing. By the time we got back to the building to get his signature, he was gone. He was actually walking out as we came in, and I said hi to him, and he said hi back. So that was my involvement with Tom Savini. He's notoriously kind of a prick. He was nice to me in the 25 seconds I had with him.
It wasn't even 25 seconds, dude. It was just...
Yeah.
It's like, hey, look, it's Tom Savini. He's like, hi. He did look a little pissed, though.
I don't know.
Tom Savini always looks pissed.
It's the mustache, and he does a lot of conventions. We will get another chance to meet Savini, for certain.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. As opposed to Adams and Browning, they could be gone this time next year, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, we were actually worried that they may not be here.
Yeah, I think we mentioned that on one of the previous episodes. We want to talk about some of the stuff we bought today.
Oh, do we need to?
A whole bunch.
Oh, well, then let's get it.
Oh, let's not do a booty shakedown yet.
Oh, no, let's just go ahead and do it. Get it over with.
All right.
So, bag number one.
Bag number one. Okay, what's in bag number one?
Are we going to do this as I bought and you bought, or just collectively?
As we bring it out, we'll mention who it's for. First off, this guy had the Blu-ray of Destroy All Monsters, and this is the one with the special features, and this is going on the secondary market for hundreds of dollars, because it immediately went out of print. So that's cool. I got that for $35, which is more than I wanted, but reasonable. What do we got here?
And I got
and JD,
Night of the Lepus.
Night of the Lepus, which you were looking for all day. You said that's my grail today, is Night of the Lepus, and we finally found it, and we probably spent more for it than it's worth, but hey.
Well, you know, I guarantee you, whatever.
Nothing wrong with giant killer bunny rabbits. Okay, this is
Gappa.
mine. I'm on kind of a kaiju kick here of late. Got Gappa the Triphibian monster, and this is from Tokyo Shock, so this is not a public domain release. That's nice. I haven't seen that one. I don't know if it's any good or not. What do we got here? Dogara was one I was looking for because I couldn't find it at first. I was afraid we had lost it. We went to get lunch, and I came back, and it was gone, and this other guy, two guys, they looked like twin brothers, and they were clearly big Godzilla fans. He had Dogara and Matango in his hand, and I'm like, ooh, you dirty rat. But I was able to find another copy of Dogara. I couldn't find another copy of Matango. That's a shame, but that's pretty cool.
And then I got a shirt that has all of the Universal monsters on it, with the exception of the Bride. It doesn't have the Bride, and it doesn't have the Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, who all's on it? The Mummy. It's got Art of Bay and the Creature, Frankenstein, Dracula, and the Wolfman.
Yep.
That guy had a whole shelf of t-shirts that he had stenciled himself, so that was pretty cool.
No, that wasn't this guy.
Oh, that was some other guy?
Yeah, that was a different guy.
Oh, man,
I could afford his shirts.
There were a lot of shirt vendors.
And he only had an extra large.
Okay.
All right, so bag number one is done.
Yeah, stuff we just got.
All right, here comes bag number two.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, this is something cool I got. They did this as a promotional item for Eraserhead, for the David Lynch movie Eraserhead. It's a cardboard paper cutout of the main character Henry's face. And I wasn't going to get this, but it was $10, and the guy said, it wasn't the guy selling it, it was some other dude by the booth, and he said, that's a rare item, man, you should get that, that's a great price. What the hell, it's $10. So that's
and I won you a copy of King Kong vs. Godzilla on Blu-ray.
Yeah, and I would not have gotten this, but for free, yeah, I'll take it for free, even though it's just the English version. Sure, you know, what the hell, and it was some sort of weird contest he was having, whatever.
Well,
and you already have a copy, so you gave it to me.
Right.
And it was something, yeah, you buy a magazine.
Is you buy this Scream magazine. This is number 25. It has Godzilla on the cover.
Yeah.
It's $9. Buy that, and then you got to draw a skull out of this skull-shaped box, actually.
Yeah.
It had a number on it, and the number corresponded to a movie you got for free. And the movie I got for free was King Kong vs. Godzilla.
On Blu-ray.
Which I already had.
Which you already have, so it's mine now. Which is nice of you, buddy. You're a good friend.
And then there's that.
Yeah, there's Joel's signature.
Let's see. Those are our SIGs.
Okay, those are all our signatures. I didn't get Jack Hill's signature. I'd wanted to, but I just didn't get to him. And Tom Weaver, I didn't even see. I wanted to talk to...
I don't know what this is.
That's a catalog.
Oh, okay. If you didn't want one, I'll go get it to you anyway.
I wanted to see Tom Weaver, the self-professed Universal Monster expert, because I wanted to challenge him, but I didn't see him, so here, put those back in there.
Alright, so that's it for bag number 2.
That is bag number 2. Are we even halfway done at this point? Got 2 or 3 more bags back there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to...
So many bags. Don't ask me how much money I spent. It was too much.
Oh god, this one's heavy.
The guy that was selling the Eraserhead things, they had this thing, and it was buy a piece of Betty Page's nightgown.
Okay.
Which was weird and funny. Okay, here's some DVDs I got.
Scars of Dracula.
Scars of Dracula. This is the Anchor Bay release. It's out of print. This is something you and I will both be watching for a future episode.
Human Vapor.
Yeah, this is part of my kaiju kick. This is a very rare Toho film called The Human Vapor, so that's cool. And that's both the English dub and sub. Speaking of Toho films, this is the first part of a weird series of vampire movies they did in the 70s called Vampire Doll. The second 2 parts are Evil of Dracula and Lake of Dracula, and I have those, but Vampire Doll is a lot harder to find, so I was happy to get that. And this one I didn't expect at all. Half human. This is a Bigfoot movie Toho made. In fact, it's even directed by Ishiro Honda. But I was under the impression that this was banned because it was offensive to some ethnic group in Japan. So to find that was surprising. I'm not entirely convinced that's the Japanese version. But either way, it's cool. What else we got?
We got Gorgo on Blu-ray.
Gorgo on Blu-ray. Yeah, continuing my kaiju kick. Here's Gorgo, the British kaiju movie. This is you, and this better be region-free.
He said it was.
It's the Nightmare on Elm Street series on Blu-ray.
Yes.
If you look at the markings, you can tell it's not a domestic release. But the guy said it was region-free, and I guess we'll find out, won't we?
Yeah, I guess so.
Just a hint, JD, most computers are region-free. So you could watch it on your computer if nothing else.
No, I can't, because I don't have a...
You don't have a DVD player. Well, in that case, you're SOL, buddy. I'm not talking about the Satellite of Love, either.
Okay, well that's it for bag number 3, was that?
Oh, God. Is that everything?
Yeah.
And those are my business cards in there. I made up some business cards to promote my book, and I gave a couple out, and we left a couple on a table, and it was clear that several had been taken.
You've sold at least one.
I've sold at least one book this weekend, which is better than not selling any.
Oh, God. Bag number 4.
Bag number 4. Okay, Jesus. Okay, this is cool. All right, what is this?
Cinema Insomnia.
Yeah, we got to meet Mr. Lobo, who is a internationally syndicated horror host, who I've heard about for years, and this is some weird movie he made with himself and a bunch of other local horror hosts. It's got Finn Gooley and Count Gordeval and Carlos Borloff, whom we've met before on there, so that's pretty cool. And this is...
Gamera. Gamera is really neat.
He is filled with turtle meat. We all love you, Gamera. This is an action figure made by Trendmasters in the 90s. Now, you and I had a bunch of Trendmasters Godzilla toys, but they're Gamera toys. I never saw these on the shelves as a kid. And this one is of my favorite Gamera monster, which is Giran, the knife head. That was pretty cool. I spent too much on it. The girl at the booth was a real cutie, though. That helped. I came here looking for Universal Monster stuff. I came home with a bunch of other monster movies instead, but I did find one of the rare Universal Monster movies I was looking for. I was looking for The Spider-Woman Strikes Back with Rondo Hatton and Gail Sondergaard, and I was able to find that one. Oh god, there's more? Oh, and then here's Bucket of Blood, which is not hard to find, but it was cheap, and I wanted it, so I got it. That's the Dick Miller, Roger Corman movie. That's a good one. You should watch it.
Oh, okay. I'll get rid of that. More.
Oh, God, there's getting more bags?
I think I've got at least one over here behind my seat.
This is why we only do 2 of these a year.
We normally only do 1 a year.
Yeah, we made a special trip for this one.
Yeah, one more bag.
One more bag, and I think this one is mostly you.
I think this one is all me.
Okay.
It's all me, baby.
It's all me, baby. Weirdly, I'm usually the one who goes nuts for figures, but they had a lot of figures, mostly older stuff, though, and mostly stuff I had. But you did find something you thought was cool.
Yeah, I found a werewolf from the old Todd McFarlane Monsters line.
Yeah, and this is not the later McFarlane Monster series.
It's not the Wolfman, it's the werewolf.
Yeah, this is like the play sets they did, and it comes with a werewolf and then a hunter you can tear apart. In fact, you can tell how old it is. It has the old McFarlane Toys logo on it before they put Spawn on the logo. But yeah, so that's cool.
And then, best movie of all time.
Okay, you bought this, yeah.
Day of the Triffids.
Neither of us have ever seen this film. However, Day of the Triffids, it is a classic. It is well known, but I've never seen it. I don't know if it's any good or not, but JD wanted it, and there you go. We got it.
It looks horrible, but it looks like a good cheesy 60s sci-fi film.
Giant plant monsters. So you want to talk about just some of the other weird shit we saw at the convention here today?
You mean like Mask of the Red Death?
Yeah, there were only a few cosplayers, not a whole bunch, but yeah, there was a guy dressed
up.
That
was the weird part.
The reason I said why there were so few cosplayers is because this con skews slightly older, which we'll talk about in a minute, and cosplaying is usually a young person's game. But then the guy dressed up as the Mask of the Red Death said, "Oh, I'm in my 60s, so it's not that young." That guy in there was a guy dressed as Zorro.
He was older as well.
Yeah, a couple other things here and there. It was fun.
Grim Reaper. Death, who has been at every horror con we have ever been at.
Actually, he was only at a Horrorfine, but yes, the point is.
He was at Monster Mania last year.
All right, I'll take your word.
You should, I was there.
These are some people who tour the country, and the woman is dressed as a demon, and the guy who is very, very tall is dressed as Death.
I think he wears stilts.
I don't know if he does or not. Something I noticed that was interesting, I guess it's because this is a classic horror con. The number of people there were mostly older in age. Older people with their very young children. But we only saw a couple other people our own age. One of the people we were in line with noticed my sign that says Last of the Monster Kids. He said, "Oh wow, you really might be the last of the Monster Kids. You're so much younger than the rest of us." Maybe we are.
But that made me feel good. Got a little bit of recognition out there.
I think so, yeah.
And I maintain that we should eventually make t-shirts for the Bangers and Mash show.
Yeah, that's definitely going to happen someday. Yeah, we need to get out there. I mean, I was promoting my book today, but next con we go to, we will promote the podcast, or the quasi-podcast that we have here as well. Prices overall were extremely fair and reasonable, except for one guy was selling a bunch of rare books. I don't know how rare they actually were, but he was selling books, all extremely, crazily overpriced.
Yeah, well, I don't know about the books, because you know me, I don't look at books. There was, and you said they were custom. You know, apparently some custom Migos there for like $95.
Crazy, upwards of $100. It was
and
really
I'm like,
nuts.
I would pay $95 for a good action figure.
But there were a lot of people. There was a guy selling model kits. There was a guy selling your own latex mask of Frankenstein that you could paint. And of course, lots and lots of DVDs. I think there was more DVDs than anything else.
Which is good. That's kind of what we go there for, is to find old action figures you can't find and DVDs.
And there were some figures. Not really any new figures. Like one booth had new stuff.
The whole Godzilla thing.
And that was another thing, you know, I thought with the new Godzilla movie coming out, there would be a bunch of kaiju movies. I guess there still was because I got plenty. Nobody had the Daimajin set. Nobody had Atragon. Well, Atragon's out of print, but Daimajin surprised me because that came out recently. I don't know, the guy even said the kaiju stuff doesn't sell, which surprised me. I figured this would be the place to get it.
We'll see. Godzilla hasn't even really left theaters yet.
Yeah, it's still playing in a couple places.
We'll see what the HorrorCon in October. We have better luck finding the figures at Monster Mania. So.
Oh yeah, for certain.
Which I'm really hoping to find the big Godzilla there.
Yeah, I want that too.
Because I'll have the money to buy it. You know, if you're going to buy a Godzilla figure, it's got to be larger than life.
Yeah, it's got to be as big as possible. Would you say that Monster Bash was a positive experience?
Except for the drive, yes.
The drive, which we will now have to go back on. We are now getting ready to leave. But overall, this con was really great. If it wasn't for the fact that it was 3 hours plus away, I would love to come back. They would have to get somebody of the caliber of Julie Adam and Ricou Browning for us to come back.
I agree.
Like Christopher Lee, hint, hint.
Does he even do cons?
Not really.
Maybe over in Britain or wherever it is he lives.
Yeah, wherever in Britain or something. But overall, yeah, this was a lot of fun. I had a great time here. Really cool con. Talked to some really friendly people. The people here were more talkative and friendly than they were at Monster Mania. You notice that?
Yeah.
Well, that was funny. Great con. If you're in the Mars, Pennsylvania area, I would recommend seeking it out, especially if you like classic horror. And if you're listening to the show, I'm going to assume that you do.
I think they do it multiple times per year, don't they?
Yeah, because they have another one.
Same hotel?
Yeah, they have another one coming in October that apparently is going to be Hammer-themed, and Caroline Munro is going to be there. And I like Caroline Munro, but not enough to drive all the way up here to meet her.
If they were to say, you know, all the Hammer Girls and Christopher Lee...
Then yes.
Then yes, but...
Not otherwise.
Yeah.
You know, notably, no lines at all for the tables here. clear. None. You walked right up to the people.
And I like that.
That was nice. As soon as you enter the place, there's a hallway where all the guests are.
Very well laid out. It's probably the best laid out con I've been to.
Yeah, just like a hallway of guests and then the huge-ass dealer's room. This was a blast. Very expensive. I don't even want to think about how much money I spent, but I had a really good time here. I hope to come back someday. I don't know when, but someday.
I guess all we can do is end the podcast on Up From the Depths.
30 stories high.
Breeze fire.
His head in the skies.
Godzilla.
Godzilla.
Godzilla. And Godzuki.
This is a short episode. Sorry about that. We're going to do better next month, okay? We kind of took it easy in June.
What do you guys want from us? We just did Godzilla Marathon last month.
Other stuff's been happening. But anyway, you will hear from us again soon. I'm Mr. Bangers, a.k.a. Zach.
I'm Mr. Mash, a.k.a. JD.
This has been the Bangers and Mash Show. Email us at bangersandmash88@yahoo.com. Like the Facebook group. I'm on Twitter now. Follow me at LastMonsterKid. And please, if you are so inclined to, buy my book, Last of the Monster Kids, on the Amazon Kindle Marketplace by Zach Clopton. Search the title or my name, it comes right up. It's $8. Leave brutally positive review. Leave honest reviews. Tell your friends if you like it. Anyway, that's the show this week. See you guys soon, alright?
Live long and prosper.
Adios, amigos.
Up from the depths, 30 stories high.